All right, so today we're diving into gas processing plant control room operator interview prep.
Exciting stuff.
We've got a career guide, an interview guide, even some info on RoleCatcher's AI.
A lot to unpack.
Our mission to help you absolutely nail that interview.
We're going to go deep into what the job really is like.
Yeah, get into those tricky questions they love to ask.
And even show you how AI can give you an edge in the process.
Like having a personal interview coach right in your pocket.
Exactly.
But before we get to all that, let's paint a picture of what a gas processing plant control room operator actually does.
Okay.
Because it's more than just sitting in a room full of blinking lights, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely not.
So tell me, what's it really like?
Think of it like conducting this complex orchestra of gauges, dials, and systems.
Okay, I like that.
You're the maestro, making sure that gas flows smoothly and the plant operates safely.
It's a dynamic environment.
For sure, you're constantly monitoring, adjusting, troubleshooting, and communicating with various teams.
Right. And speaking of that environment, our career guide mentions that it can get a little noisy in that control room.
Yeah.
So maybe earplugs are going to be your new best friend.
You got it.
Now, the guide also highlights the importance of hands-on experience for landing these types of roles.
Absolutely.
So things like internships, cooperative education programs.
Those are gold.
Especially for those entry-level roles.
Yeah, and then as you progress, advanced training certifications like process operator or OSHA,
Okay.
those can really make you stand out.
Gotcha. So continuous learning is really key in this field.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's dive into the interview questions now.
Let's do it.
Our interview guide has some great examples, and a classic one is, describe your experience with gas processing plant operations.
Okay.
So how would you approach this question?
This is your chance to really showcase that in-depth knowledge.
Okay.
Don't just list tasks. Paint a picture,
Okay.
Like, were you involved in optimizing that on-amine treatment unit?
Okay.
Did you troubleshoot a tricky issue with a gas compressor? Right.
Be specific, quantify your achievements.
Gotcha.
So instead of saying, I monitored gas flow, you could say, I successfully maintained gas flow within a 2% margin of error, exceeding safety standards by 10%.
Yeah, I like that showing those quantifiable results really helps.
It does.
Now, I bet they're going to have some follow-up questions based on that description, right?
Oh, for sure.
So they might ask you to elaborate on a specific project or describe a time you faced a challenge in that plant setting.
Exactly. So before the interview, think about those specific experiences and how they demonstrate your skills and knowledge.
Okay.
And actually, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze job descriptions and highlight which experiences you should emphasize.
Wow, so you can actually tailor those responses to each specific job you're applying for.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
That's incredible. All right, let's move on to another common question. How do you ensure the safety of gas processing plant operations? This one, I feel like it's all about showing them that safety is your top priority.
Absolutely.
But I bet they want to hear more than just, I follow the rules. Oh, for sure. You need to go deeper than that. You need to demonstrate that you have a deep understanding of those safety regulations and procedures.
Okay.
Talk about your proactive approach to hazard identification, your meticulously adhering to protocols, and your commitment to creating that safe work environment.
So, for example, you could say something like, I always conduct a thorough risk assessment before starting any task, and I never hesitate to speak up if I see a potential safety concern.
Exactly. They want to see that you're not just following the rules, you're living and breathing them.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about a question that focuses on a very specific piece of equipment.
Okay.
Describe your experience with operating and maintaining gas compressors. This is where I feel like that technical expertise really shines through.
It does talk about the types of compressors that you've worked with,
Okay.
reciprocating centrifugal screw, and describe the specific tasks that you performed.
Gotcha.
Have you conducted routine inspections,
Uh-huh.
troubleshooting malfunctions, even overhauls? And don't forget to mention any specialized training you have in compressor maintenance.
And again, our career guide mentions those specialized certifications can really set you apart.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you identify those specific certifications that employers are looking for in each job description.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
It is.
All right. Let's tackle a question that seems pretty high pressure, literally. How do you manage emergencies in gas processing plant operations?
Okay.
That one sounds intense.
It can be.
What are they looking for when they ask you a question like that?
They want to see that you can stay calm, think clearly, act decisively in a crisis.
Yeah, under pressure.
Think back to any drills or simulations you've participated in. Describe your knowledge of those emergency response protocols and emphasize your ability to work effectively under pressure.
So if you've ever dealt with a gas leak or a similar situation,
Yeah,
even if it was in a training environment,
right.
now's the time to mention it.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to get into those nitty-gritty details.
Yeah.
The steps that you took, how you contributed to a safe resolution.
And be prepared for those scenario-based follow-up questions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, what would you do if you noticed a sudden drop in pressure in a pipeline?
They want to see your thought process in action.
This is where having that AI feedback from RoleCatcher could really come in handy.
Yeah,
So you can practice those scenarios and get personalized feedback on your responses.
it's like having a virtual mock interview.
Very cool. All right, let's tackle another question. How do you ensure the efficiency of gas processing plant operations?
Right.
This feels like it's about more than just keeping the plant running right.
It is. It's about optimizing the entire process.
Okay.
Showcase your understanding of process optimization, equipment maintenance schedules, and how you monitor key performance indicators to identify areas for improvement.
Okay.
Discuss your experience using software or control systems to monitor and adjust processes in real time.
So it's really about showing that you have a proactive and an efficiency-driven mindset. Now, speaking of being proactive, let's not forget about the importance of those environmental regulations.
Right.
So how would you approach a question like, how do you ensure compliance with environmental regulations in gas processing plant operations?
Yeah, this one's all about showcasing your knowledge of those specific regulations and your meticulous adherence to them.
Okay.
Talk about your experience with environmental monitoring systems, waste management procedures, and any initiatives you've been involved in to minimize that plant's environmental impact.
So it's about demonstrating that you're not just aware of the rules, you're actively working to exceed them.
Precisely. And remember, honesty and transparency are key.
Right.
If you've ever encountered an environmental issue, briefly explain the situation, how you resolved it, and what you learned from that experience.
Yeah, showing that accountability.
It shows accountability and a commitment to continuous improvement.
Yeah, I like that. Now, before we move on to the next question, I want to highlight another way that RoleCatcher's AI can help. It can analyze your resume and identify any potential skill gaps that might be holding you back.
That's a great feature.
That's incredibly valuable.
It is.
So you can really focus your efforts on developing those specific skills and becoming an even stronger candidate.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's tackle another crucial question. How do you communicate effectively with other team members in gas processing plant operations?
Okay.
This is your opportunity to really shine a light on those strong communication skills and your ability to collaborate effectively.
Right. Think of concrete examples of how you've clearly conveyed information,
Okay.
listened attentively to others, and resolved conflicts constructively.
It's all about showing them that you're a team player.
Exactly. Someone who values open and respectful communication.
And be prepared to discuss your experience with different communication methods used in the plant,
Right. Right.
like radio communication shift handovers, or even digital platforms. All right, let's move on to a question that emphasizes the importance of quality control. What steps do you take to maintain the quality of gas in gas processing plant operations?
Okay.
This feels like it's all about demonstrating your understanding of gas quality control.
It is. Talk about your knowledge of those factors that affect gas quality.
Okay.
Impurities, moisture content, and describe those steps you take to monitor and control them.
Okay.
Highlight your experience using gas chromatographs or other analytical equipment to test gas samples and ensure they meet specifications.
So it's about showcasing that attention to detail and your commitment to producing a high-quality product.
Absolutely. And remember, RoleCatcher can analyze your answers to these questions and provide personalized feedback to help you refine your responses.
That's cool.
It's like having an expert eye on your interview prep, ensuring you're presenting yourself in the best possible light.
That's a fantastic resource.
Huh.
All right, let's tackle one final question for this part of our deep dive. How do you troubleshoot and resolve mechanical issues in gas processing plant operations? This, to me, sounds like it's all about showcasing those problem-solving skills and your technical prowess.
It is give specific examples of mechanical issues you've encountered, explaining your process for diagnosing that root cause and those steps you took to resolve the problem.
Okay.
This is a great opportunity to highlight your hands-on experience and your ability to work independently and efficiently.
And be sure to mention any specialized training you've received in mechanical troubleshooting or repair,
Yeah.
as well as your familiarity with that specific equipment used in those gas processing plants.
Right.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive.
We have.
But there's much more to explore, so we'll continue our discussion in the next part.
Yeah.
We'll delve into some even more challenging interview scenarios and offer additional tips to help you ace those interviews and land your dream job in the exciting world of gas processing.
Absolutely. Welcome back to our deep dive into preparing for your gas processing plant control room operator interview.
So we've covered some really technical questions.
No way.
But now let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and explore those less technical,
Right.
but equally important aspects,
Absolutely.
like teamwork communication
Uh-huh.
and making a great first impression.
All important.
After all, they're not just hiring your skills, they're hiring you.
Exactly. They want to see that you can handle those interpersonal dynamics.
Right.
Which are so crucial in a high-pressure environment.
Absolutely, like a gas processing plant.
Right.
So our interview guide mentions a question that often comes up. How do you handle conflict within a team?
Okay.
This feels like they're trying to gauge how you navigate those tricky situations.
The key here is to emphasize open communication,
Okay.
active listening, and finding those solutions that benefit everyone.
It's not about being right.
No.
It's about finding the best solution for the team and for the plant as a whole.
Exactly.
So instead of saying, I'd stand my ground, you could say something like, I believe in addressing conflicts directly, but respectfully, I'd listen to understand their perspective and then work to find a compromise that aligns with the team's goals.
Perfect. It shows that you're level-headed and prioritize the bigger picture.
Okay, now how about a question that gets at your long-term motivation?
Okay.
Especially in a role that I imagine can sometimes feel routine.
Yeah.
Our guide has this question. How do you stay motivated in a role that can be routine and repetitive?
Right. It's like they're trying to make sure you won't get bored or complacent.
Exactly.
This is where you showcase that genuine passion for the field.
Okay.
You know, you could say something like, I'm motivated by knowing that even though I might be calibrating sensors all day, those readings are crucial to keeping that pipeline pumping gas that heats thousands of homes. That's a responsibility I take seriously.
Yeah, I like that, connecting those seemingly repetitive tasks
Right.
to their real-world impact.
Yeah.
It's powerful. And it reminds me of something that we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's AI
Yeah.
can analyze those company profiles
It can.
and identify potential career paths,
It's a great tool.
which I think would be really helpful for answering questions about your long-term goals.
For sure.
Speaking of long-term goals,
Okay.
there's another question in the guide that I think can be a little tricky.
All right.
What are your long-term career goals?
Right.
Because I think they want to see ambition,
Yes.
but also that you see yourself growing with the company.
They do. It's about finding that sweet spot between personal ambition and company loyalty.
Exactly. So don't just say management.
Right.
Research the company.
Okay.
Are they expanding into liquefied natural gas, LNG?
Right.
You could say, I'm fascinated by your LNG projects.
Mm.
I see myself becoming a specialist in that area, helping this company become an industry leader.
Yeah. I like that shows initiative
It does.
and a genuine interest in their specific growth areas.
Exactly.
Now let's shift gears a bit again
Okay.
and talk about first impressions.
Our guide highlights this classic question. What is your greatest weakness?
Oh, yeah. Everyone's favorite.
Everyone hates this question.
Yeah.
How do you approach this one honestly
Right.
without shooting yourself in the foot?
Honesty is key, but choose a weakness that isn't a deal breaker
Okay.
and one that you're actively improving.
Yeah.
For example, I used to struggle with public speaking, but I joined Toastmasters and I'm much more confident now.
Right. So it shows self-awareness
Uh-huh.
and a dedication to personal growth,
Absolutely.
which are qualities that I think any employer would appreciate.
They would.
Okay. Now let's dive into some situational questions.
Right.
Our guide mentions this one. Describe a time you had to make a difficult decision under pressure. What was the situation and how did you handle it?
Okay.
I bet this is where they're really assessing your ability to think on your feet.
They are choose a situation relevant to the role
Okay.
and walk them through your process.
Okay.
How you gathered information, assessed risks, and made that decision in the plant's best interest.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to mention challenges and lessons learned. It shows growth.
It's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about showing you can learn from those experiences.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about a question that often makes people nervous. Why are you interested in this particular role?
Okay.
Seems simple,
It does.
but I can see how it could trip someone up.
Yeah. The key is to go beyond the generic.
Okay.
Connect your skills and experience to the job requirements and highlight what excites you about this role at this company.
Okay.
Maybe it's their commitment to safety or a specific project that they're working on.
You could even talk about the company's reputation in the industry
Yeah.
or their use of cutting-edge technology.
Exactly. Show them you've done your homework and are genuinely enthusiastic about the opportunity.
I like it. And speaking of enthusiasm, another question that people tend the dreaded salary question.
The salary question.
What are your salary expectations?
Oh, yeah, that one can be tricky.
Like a dance.
It is.
Try and be realistic without undervaluing yourself.
Exactly. Research the salary range for similar roles in your location.
Okay.
You can use resources like RoleCatcher's salary comparison tool.
Okay.
Then be prepared to give a range rather than a specific number and be
Right.
confident, you have valuable skills and you deserve to be compensated fairly.
Absolutely. Now, before we wrap up this part, I want to emphasize something that's really cool about RoleCatcher.
Okay.
It doesn't just give you this general advice.
Right.
It actually analyzes your resume
Yeah.
and identifies those skill gaps.
Yeah, that's incredibly valuable.
That's huge.
It allows you to focus your efforts on developing those specific skills
Yeah.
to become an even stronger candidate.
It's like having a personalized career coach guiding you every step of the way.
I like that.
All right, let's tackle one more question from our guide before we move on. Tell me about a time you failed.
Okay.
Nobody likes to talk about failures,
No?
but I imagine this is about how you handle those setbacks.
It is. Everyone makes mistakes. Choose a situation where you made a genuine mistake but learned and grew from it.
Okay.
Explain the situation, the mistake, how you rectified it, and the lessons you took away.
So again, showing that accountability,
Yeah.
that resilience.
It shows that you're accountable, resilient, and committed to continuous improvement.
Wow. We've covered some really important,
We have.
but sometimes tricky interview questions
For sure.
in this part of our deep dive.
Absolutely.
Welcome back. We've covered so much ground prepping for this gas processing plant control room operator interview.
We have.
We've tackled those common questions, those tricky behavioral ones,
Right.
even how to talk about our weaknesses.
Right.
But what about those curveballs, those unexpected questions that just come out of left field?
Yeah, those are the ones that can really throw you off,
For sure.
They're designed to see how you think on your feet, how you handle pressure, and to get a glimpse of your personality.
Yeah, like, can you handle the heat?
Exactly.
Now, our interview guide has a few examples of those curveballs
It does.
that are particularly popular with hiring managers in this industry.
Right.
So hit me with one. I'm ready for anything.
All right, how about this? If you were a piece of equipment in a gas processing plant, what would you be and why?
Oh, wow. Okay. I see what you mean by curveball.
Yeah.
That's not something you can really prep for in advance.
Exact. There's no right or wrong answer.
Uh,
But there is a strategy.
all right, I'm listening.
Take a deep breath. Don't panic and try to have some fun with it.
Okay.
The key is to connect your answer back to the skills and qualities that make you a great control room operator.
Okay, so I could say something like, I'd be a gas chromatograph
Yeah.
because I'm analytical, detail-oriented, and I'm always striving for accuracy. Just like a chromatograph ensures the quality of the gas.
Perfect. It's memorable. It shows that you understand the equipment and it highlights your key strengths.
That's a great tip.
I tried.
What's another one of those curveballs?
Here's a classic. Tell me about a time you failed.
Oh, yeah. It's from out.
Nobody likes to talk about their failures, but it's a question that comes up often in interviews,
It does.
especially for a role like this where decisions have real consequences.
Right. So it's
Right.
not about pretending you're perfect.
Right.
It's about showing you can learn from those mistakes.
Exactly.
That's-
Choose a situation where you made a genuine mistake, but where you also took ownership, learned from it, and grew as a result.
Okay.
Explain the situation, what went wrong, the steps you took to fix it, and the lessons you learned.
So really focus on those positive takeaways.
Yes.
And how that experience made you a better operator.
Exactly. It shows humility, accountability, and a commitment to continuous improvement.
Those are all super valuable qualities in a control room operator.
For sure.
Now, this is another area where I think RoleCatcher can be really helpful.
Yeah.
You can actually use their AI to practice your answers to these curveball questions.
You can, and the AI will provide personalized feedback,
Wow.
helping you refine your responses and sound more confident.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like having a virtual mock interview, but with the added benefit of AI-powered insights.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, one more curveball for you. What are your long-term career goals?
Okay.
They want to see you're ambitious,
They do.
but also that your aspirations align with the company's growth trajectory.
Right. It's that balance of personal goals and company loyalty that we talked about earlier.
Exactly. So don't just say management,
Right.
right? Do your research be specific?
Yes.
For example, if the company's expanding into LNG,
Uh-huh.
you could say, I'm fascinated by your LNG projects. I see myself becoming a specialist in that area, helping this company become an industry leader.
Perfect.
Yeah, shows you've done your research and that you're thinking about how you can contribute to their future success.
Exactly.
All right, so beyond those specific questions, I want to leave you with a few final tips
Okay, sounds good.
to really help you shine on interview day.
All right.
First, dress professionally.
Yes.
It shows respect for the interviewers and the company.
Absolutely. Second, arrive on time or even a few minutes early.
Okay.
It demonstrates punctuality and reliability.
Seems basic,
Yeah.
but you'd be surprised how many people overlook those simple things.
You would.
Third, maintain a positive and enthusiastic attitude throughout the interview. Let that passion for the field shine through.
Yes, and don't forget to smile.
Smile. Be enthusiastic.
Fourth, ask thoughtful questions. It shows you're engaged and genuinely interested in the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And it's good to prepare a few questions in advance,
Yeah.
but also be ready to ask those spontaneous questions based on the conversation.
Yes, good point. And finally, follow up with a thank you note
Okay.
within 24 hours.
Keep it fresh in their minds.
It's a simple gesture, but it reinforces your professionalism and appreciation.
Great advice. We've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have.
We've really explored the ins and outs of this gas processing plant control room operator role, dissected those challenging interview questions.
And even revealed how AI can be your secret weapon in the interview process.
Absolutely.
So remember, preparation is key.
It is.
Use those resources that we discussed, like RoleCatcher,
Yeah.
practice those answers, and most importantly, believe in yourself.
You got this.
You got this. And one final thought. What aspects of gas processing fascinate you the most?
Yeah.
That genuine interest will shine through and make a lasting impression.
Good luck. Good luck.